All right. So here we are. My name is Harry, and I'm with Ada and Jennifer, who are past students and current students with the advanced course. And they are kind enough to give me some of their time and answer some questions for, especially for students who are looking to this training and learning what to do and how did they come up with it, and what would you like to learn about it. So if it's okay with you, ladies, I would like to just start and just ask a question, see what you guys say and what comes up. Okay. All right. So let's start with what have you found that is different from other courses that you have taken before? So this course compared to other courses you've taken before.
Jennifer Rose, you want to go first or you want me to go?
You go first.
Okay. So I I've taken a lot of courses actually. And what I found personally for me that's different with this course is that the way that you teach is very personable, but in a way of like, for me, it's like all about feeling and understanding. And it's not so much technical. I mean, if there are parts where it's like you got to read, you got to understand, you got to, do the technical part, but really it's the experience of it. Like, every week that I actually look forward to it. Like every week, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I get to like come to class. It's like a double whammy. I get to learn and then I get to heal myself. And I think that that is so important. And then like it coupled with your teachings, like I feel there's nothing like experience, right? So like as soon as I get the healing, as soon as I, try it on my other classmate, immediately the following day, if I have a client, I just try it on my client immediately and I get results like that because I'm now like not just reading it, I'm like experiencing it and I feel it. And again, with the teachings, like you go in and explain a lot of um, different examples. And I love that. I'm like, yes, like I grasp that really, really good. So I find it personable. I find it easy to understand. And also I find it like a great way to explore other parts of myself. And
Mm-hmm.
once I'm doing that, I'm now like helping other people do the same thing. I mean, I just had a client like right now actually that just left and she told me it was one of the best, most impactful sessions. She was crying so much. We did a childhood healing for her. Um, but I also want to add that I feel that when I work with you or take your classes, I'm not like working with you. I'm like literally working with you and all of your guides. That I think is
Yeah.
so special because they come in every time I'm doing a work. They're coming in, they're guiding, they're working with my ancestors, they're working with my guides. And so I just feel like it's almost like a lineage. I know in other
Mm.
shamanic ways it's like a lineage, but like, you know, I get access to them and they also help guide me. And so I think it's just so special, you know? So
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
yeah.
Mm.
Jennifer?
Yeah, I think that for me, it's rather simple. I connect with you in a way that I feel completely nurtured and safe. And then I'm allowing myself the space to grow and to see and to understand things that I've never had the support to face. And when I'm in that space that I didn't even know how to get to, you go into these different states of consciousness and, you might have read about them intellectually or you try to find them in meditation, but having been given a direct experience of it as many times as I needed to, because I'm rather stubborn, like, oh, here's the greater self. Here it is again. No, please stay there. Stay there this time. And bring that back into my life. Like I've seen that transform everything that I am. My relationship to myself, my thoughts, my emotions, how I show up in the world is directly related to how I feel. And if I can feel nurtured and safe and have an understanding of the greater self, then I can allow my life to be so much bigger than I thought was possible. And so that that possibility, that choice. What am I making in my life? Who do I want to become? And I want to have this light and I love, and I want to share that with the whole world. And so, as I'm healing and transforming using these techniques, with the support of the group, with the support of you, with the support of my inner self that now feels strong and nourished and loved, I can make those choices to guide my life in the right direction. And then I can help other people. Like, what do you want to be? What is your highest expression? Well, let's see what's in the way of that. And the only way we can do that is by looking at it. So let's look at it together, and I'll be with you, nurturing you and loving you and helping you feel safe so you can do that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jennifer. All right. You both mentioned something that's important, like the part of actually doing the practice and getting practiced on, and basically getting some of your own personal healing along the path, which is, I think, it's important when you have the practice session to really experience it yourself first and get that, like, oh, okay, that's how it feels to suddenly connect with your inner child in a deeper way, or do some healing, some relationships or anything like that. So it's really, it brings a lot, and it takes you to your own next level, so you can help others in a better way. Beautiful. Thank you. I want to ask another question. What is the most profound thing you have learned from this course?
Jennifer Rose, your turn first.
Okay. How to love myself. I think that I went through life loving everyone else, and I made myself really, really small. And I forgot that I was important and that my thoughts and feelings mattered. And, this course helped me to get rid of everything that's in the way of that, and to realize that I'm the same as everyone else. We are one. And so if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of anyone else.
Yeah. How about you, Ada? What's the most profound thing? I know it's kind of hard to isolate, but
Yeah. No, it's actually pretty easy. Immediately the word empowerment came to me.
mm,
And in no way am I discrediting therapy, but I've taken therapy, I've had therapy, and I've done therapy. But I realize that when I have done therapy before, I go and I understand it, and then I try to figure out a way to work through it, and then I continue to do it and claw at it. And it's quite interesting because this modality that I'm learning with you, I look at the problem and I go, okay, I come to it going, this is my intention of like healing this aspect. And I go in and I heal it. And
yeah,
and the greatest part is that, like, it's not that you're not telling me how I should feel, you're not suggesting how I should feel. It's always you asking me what I'm feeling. And I think that's so empowering, because on a daily basis, we always keep hearing people, well, you should do this or you should do that, or this is really good for you, even therapists. Because sometimes I'm like,
yeah,
well, what if I don't like that?
yeah,
Like, sit
exactly.
with it. And it's like, well, what if I don't want to sit with it? So it's like, it's so liberating to, work in a way where it's like, I get the freedom and I get the choice to say how I feel and how I am feeling and how I want to feel. And so literally I feel like it's liberation, really. It's empowerment and liberation for me, this course. It's completely changed my life. It's completely changed the way I interact with my clients, because before, coming from like a lineage of shamans, I see things and sometimes I tell clients what I see. And now I've completely dialed back and be like, oh, instead of asking or telling them, I ask them the questions. I ask them open-ended questions, and they're like, oh my gosh, and they come to their own conclusions. And that's just so empowering. You're not taking people's power from them, you're like
Yeah,
actually adding more value, into people's lives. So that's what I feel like. This course has completely changed my perception in life, the way I view things. And honestly, like Jennifer Rose and I, we talk about like stages of consciousness and in the school that we met. I feel like the work has helped me elevate my stage of consciousness.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is a journey. It is part of, and again, it doesn't matter where it hits you in your journey. It's just, it'll take you to the next level. It's just, no matter where you're at, even if you're experienced or completely brand new, it'll just take you to the next level. And that's important to know, that you have the capacity to do so, and you will go there. You will go there. It's not like, and this is one of the reasons I like to have small classes, that you have a small intimate group that you really get to interact with and learn more, and get a one-on-one, and it's really important. There's something about this when I see some, and I've taken plenty of courses too, to see those massive courses that are like, you're like one of 35 little dots are there on the screen. It's like, it feels so impersonal. And you learn what you want to learn, or what you feel like at the moment. You don't really get engaged in that kind of, okay, practice now and do this and ask questions. And so that approach that for the whole modality is the approach of empowerment, as you mentioned, Ada, of empowerment and moving things to, you are going to empower others. That is your role. That is your job, to open people up, help them heal, and do so with love and empowerment. That's the basis. And thank you for mentioning that. All right, so let's do a little more fun now. What is the most interesting lesson for you that we've done that was like, ooh, that was so cool, kind of thing? Yeah, Ada.
I can go this time. So what's super interesting for me is that when I'm in those inductions, and when I'm going through the process, what's interesting is there are some guides that I connect in that space that I then connect outside as well too, which is so cool. I remember real quickly a session where I connected with one of my Arcturian guides, and now he's like my best friend, and I'm like, what? And I like could not have ever met him without going through this course, without working with you, without understanding how to navigate in this world, living in this world with that connection to source or to your guides. But it's so cool because like, yeah, I connected with him there. I met him through one of the sessions, and now like we're best friends. So I think that's super dope. And also my client, I thought it was just me, but my client today, again, she was like, Ada, like the work that you did for me opened me to, she was like, you read about spirit guides, but you don't really know until you experience it. So I connected her to a spirit guide months ago when you and I first started our session in the summer. And I think it was like connecting with spirit guides, like that module. And I was like, I'm just going to test it. I'm just going to test it. And it's been almost 4 months now that I worked on her. And today she told me that she connects with him every day.
Perfect. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yep.
Jennifer?
I think the most interesting aspect of the work in general is I remember starting with this self-imposed blank slate. You go in with beginner's mind and you don't have any expectations, you just have hope. And organically, things began to arise inside of me that were my own experience, that felt like they were my own memories that suddenly I could recall and understand and have access to. And then there were those moments where, I had this opening into a space that I've never been exposed to. Maybe it even sounded a little bit strange, a little outside of what I was comfortable with, but because it came from inside of me, I was willing to explore it. And I was willing to bypass what was conventional or what was normal and just see what my experience was. And I allowed my own internal experience to guide me. And that became, sovereignty. The world is constantly telling you who you should be and what you should think and what is normal and what is accepted. But when it comes from inside of you as your own internal awareness, then you get the choice of, am I going to deny myself or am I going to accept this part of me and who I am? And so I've allowed the lessons to teach me about who I am. And so every time I'm with a client or every time I'm, in one of your courses or even just in the world at this point, there's no difference to me. It's all the same. I'm just listening to my heart and finding, oh, well, what's arising naturally? And am I going to trust that?
Yeah. So raising that trust in self and trust in your own experience and bringing forth everything that you are and opening what you are and learning more, more to talk about the empowerment that Ada was mentioning earlier and bringing more of that in.
Well, and when I first started, I didn't even know what a starseed was, Harry.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Long journey, but not long in time, but long in how much you've grown. Past what, a couple of years, 2-3 years. Yeah. It's amazing. Very cool. Thank you. So you've both mentioned that you have clients and everything. So obviously you're doing that. You're actually doing the work. And you mentioned how it's enriching. What would you say to someone who is thinking of taking the course?
I would say that if your intuition is pulling you in a certain direction, then ask, well, what is the hesitation? And maybe the hesitation is coming from your desire to be comfortable, to not want to go into the unknown because there's so much potential for transformation here. And sometimes the hesitation can be resistance for something that's going to, profoundly impact your life. So if you can make your mind blank and your emotions blank and just, sit with it and then allow yourself to really experience it, or maybe get a session yourself and see if it continues to resonate. And if it continues to pull you and it continues to resonate, well, then just jump into the water of action and swim and see where it takes you.
Yeah. Thank you. Ada?
So two things. First, I just want to say thank you, Harry, because for me, when I first decided to take the course, like Jennifer Rose said, if you even have an inkling that you want to take this course, I highly recommend booking a session with either Harry or, anyone that's from your website. Any practitioner that you feel called to, please, please, please try out a session and see how you feel. But also, too, what I love is when I first was thinking about taking the course, I was kind of like scared because I was like, well, I'm already a practitioner of all these other modalities. I'm going to have to add this one. You start thinking about like, is it worth it? You start going through the whole scenario in your mind. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. But what I love is that I took everything that you taught me and I just make it my own in my heart. That feels right to me. And I think that is the super duper most important thing about this, is that you get the knowledge and you make it work for you, and I love that, where you're not the type of teacher that's like, you have to do it a certain way. And sometimes it might be good, but sometimes as a practitioner of many other modalities, it's nice to understand that like you can have this in your toolbox. And it's a very, very, in my opinion, this is my main thing that I do now, which I didn't think it was before, but literally 9 out of 10 clients I do this for. I mean, the one chance of the person that I don't do it for is probably like, oh, I don't know, but other than that, like literally, I this is my main tool. So my suggestion is just, yes, two things: get your own session, see how you feel, and two, do it and just create it and make it your own, and have it in your toolbox. It's a beautiful, I think, one of the best things that I've learned.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I want to comment on that really quickly
Mhm.
because when you mentioned that it's your main tool, I want to just offer that I've done so many trainings and over the past 20 years have been like really immersed in my own healing. And so even though I had 9 years of shamanic training, I hadn't really stepped into that yet. And this tool not only brought the pieces of myself back together so that I could empower myself, in my shamanic lineage, but it also allowed me to bring in everything else that I feel called to express through, and it holds it. It holds it in a way that I don't know that anything else is capable of. So I just,
Thank you.
makes everything seamless.
And that took me a long time to make it kind of synthesize with everything else, because it is kind of a synthesis of so many different aspects that I kind of gelled together into this modality. I was guided to do so. And it is part of, because I did that way, I thought like, this is the best way for someone to do it, because I really had a turn off when I heard, like, from one of the many trainings I took, like, you can only do this and you cannot change the script and you cannot do this. Like, no. It doesn't have to be this way, because then you don't have to express yourself through it. And it's important to be able to express your own mission and purpose and your own variation of it in a beautiful way, and incorporate it with everything else that you are, that you have learned, you have trained, and you are gifted with. So it's important to keep that flexibility in the way of playing it. It can be your main tool, it can be a side tool, it doesn't matter. It is something that is integral to any kind of healing or exploration of self and others. Yeah. So thank you very much, and we'll do a few more of these, because this is fun, and I enjoy hearing your perspective, because it's so enriching. So we'll do a few more. But is there anything else you want to add right now that if anybody's just thinking about this or wants to learn more about it?
I think that there's something to being led to the right teacher in the right moment. And when the student's ready, the teacher appears. So if you're watching this, maybe just sit with that.
Thank you. Beautifully said. Ada, you had something to say?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to add to what Jennifer Rose was saying a little earlier, but I just feel that basically, since I learned this modality, I start to understand how the mind works,
Mm-hmm.
and how important the mind is. It's funny how, like, my whole life, you're like having these emotions and these issues and these things, and you're like, well, where is it coming from? And I'm like, once I start working and doing this, I'm like, oh, well, duh. Like, it's right here. It's the computer. It's the computer. It literally is the computer. And this modality it's almost like, I don't know, this is just my words, Ada's words, but it's almost like a hack into the system.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you feeling? Cool. Let's go in. Let's see what's going on the inside. Let's travel. Let's go. Let's go to that place. Go, and you're literally in your mind traveling. And I have had clients that are like, oh, is it real? It looks so vivid. Is it really happening? I'm like, let go and trust. And every time they surrender and they do that, it's like, some lady was like, oh, I'm healing from a cat wound, like something that happened when she was 4 years old about a cat. And she was like, I don't even remember that. But apparently my body remembers it, because
That's right.
when that image came up, her whole body was like, I can physically see her shake. She was like, and it's like, oh, it's like here. So this modality is so cool in the fact that it's literally helping you release the stories that are no longer serving you. and it's like a complete like redo. It's like so I just think
Beautiful.
it's super dope.
Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate that and appreciate your time. And we'll do another one soon. Thank you so much. Okay.